Smiti matrena damodara prasidati Manchakalpadrubhyascha kripa sindhu bheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mahagadanyaya Krishna Prema Prajayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindha Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Memostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Kshiptascha Kamalita Rangamadye Kripamayi Tvam Saranam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vajhami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurasmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Baradram Tato Mamanyasti Gatirnakati Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Saranantike Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, offer my sastangananda pranam 1,000 times Lord Siddha Shri Paramarattam Guru Parvatma Vishnu Paratottara Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Secondly, offer my sastangananda pranam 1,000 times Lord Siddha Shri Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga. And offer my sastangananda pranam to all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Today is the Advaita Saptami. There is the Avirbhav Tithi, appearance day of Sri Advaita Acharya. Guru Padma has spoken many lectures on this Tithi. Printed here in Sri Bandhav, we find one lecture of Sri Gurudev on this Tithi of Advaita Saptami. Sri Guru Padma is saying that Advaita Saptami is the day that Advaita Acharya appeared in this world. Advaita Acharya, the cause of the material world, comes first. After that, Nityananda Prabhu comes on the day of Trayodasi. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself comes on Purnima, descending into this world with the effulgence of Radha Bhav. In this way, the pastimes of Mahaprabhu begin. Vande tam Srimad Advaita Acharyam Adbhuta Chestitam Yasya Prasarat Agyopi Tat Sarupam Nirupayat. I pray to Advaita Acharya, who performs especially wonderful pastimes, that by his mercy I may be able to describe this difficult tattva easily. What are these wonderful pastimes? Seeing Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu began complaining, where has this Abadut come from? Today he has come to our home and thrown prasad in all directions. He has no knowledge of what class he belongs to. Actually, he has no class at all. We are Brahmanas. We are the best of society, and he has dropped prasad on the bodies of everyone here. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, Hey, Aparadi, you are committing an offense to Mahaprasad. You consider it to be mere food, that it is merely being thrown around. You can't see that it bestows good fortune, and that whoever's body is touched by this prasad at once crosses over to Maya. In this way, there were generally some quarreling between them. When they would go for bathing, then certainly there would be quarreling. That time, Nityananda Prabhu was very young. Mahaprabhu was the youngest. Next came Nityananda, and the oldest of all was Advaita Acharya, whose thoughts are sometimes very difficult to understand. He sent a mysterious sonnet to Mahaprabhu. Baulake kahiya loka hoilo baul. Baulake kahiya hate na vikai chao. Baulake kahiya kaya nahi kao. Baulake kahiya iha khayache baul. This is in Antilila, described by Kaviraj Goswami. No one could understand this sonnet. Upon reading it, Mahaprabhu was a little indifferent. Only Sarup Damodar could understand a little of Advaita Acharya's mood. No one could understand. Mahaprabhu was sitting with all his associates when they delivered this message of Advaita Acharya to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu that time he was being merciful, and sometimes he was joking with his devotees, and he was being very kind to everyone. But as soon as he heard this message of Advaita Acharya, he became very, very grave. And then after this, then Mahaprabhu entered into the Gambhira, and then he would never come out. He would be there day and night, relishing Radharani's moods there. Why? Here Gurudev is saying that and he said that one madman, Advaita Acharya, who is mad with Krishna Prem, is sending a message to another madman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The one who made the world mad with Krishna Prem, the original madness. There is no longer necessity for rice, means that Prem has been given to everyone. And now the task is completed. Therefore the shop should be closed, means your pastimes in the material world should now come to a close. But no one could understand this. Only Sarup Damodar could know something of its meaning. In this way, Advaita Acharya's pastimes were mysterious and wonderful. He's saying, Baulaka Kahiya. One madman is saying to another, Loka hoila bahu, you have made everyone mad. Baulaka Kahika, Harte na bikacha. Now, rice is not being sold in the market, no one is buying. Baulaka Kahiya, Kaya Naika Aul. That now no one is eating. Everyone has eaten to their fullest extent. One madman is explaining to another. In other words, this prem has been distributed to everyone. You have given prem to all. Who is there left to give this prem to? You have distributed this prem far and wide. Now there is no more need for you to distribute this prem. You have accomplished the purpose for you coming into this world. But Mahaprabhu thought, yes, maybe I have distributed the fruits of prem, but my three desires to understand Radhika's pranaya mahima, the glories of her love, the sweetness that exists inside of me, and the happiness that Radharani experiences through her love, this I have not yet fully relished. So Mahaprabhu then he became desperate and serious. That's why he entered in the Gambhira and he didn't come out. Day and night he began relishing his Radha Bhav, trying to fulfill these three desires of his. And he thought, now my incarnation and my purpose for coming has come to an end. Oh, this time is not there. And for the last 12 years, Mahaprabhu, he didn't come out of the Gambhira. Day and night he stayed there. Although the gist of Bhagavad Gita advocates bhakti, at the time of Advaita Prabhu's appearance, no one was explaining it in that way. The message of the Gita is full of devotion. Vishatetat anantaram. Ultimately he enters into me. Advaitavadis interpret this to mean that Bhagavan and the Jiva merge in Brahman, become one. They say that by chanting Aham Brahmasmi and practicing meditation, the apparent individuality of the soul merges in the end, and that the material world is false. Advaita Acharya first of all gave the explanation of bhakti from these verses. Satatam kirtayantamam yajana parivasute. Anayas Satatam kirtayantamam, then anayas chintayantamam yajana parivasute, and bhakti labate param. In the end we will attain bhakti. By the medium of the precepts described in these verses, then Vishatetar Anantaram, we enter into bhakti. Not that we meet Bhagavan in Brahman, entering into undifferentiated life. Vishate means that we enter into his dham and attain his service. But some people were trying to change the meaning. So in other words, Advaita Acharya was giving bhakti, the true explanation of the Gita. That bhakti, pure devotional service, is the import or the meaning of the Gita. And explaining these verses in that according to their true meaning. Whereas impersonalists, they will try to distort the meaning, saying Vishadeya Yara Tad Anantaram. Or we merge into the Brahman. This is not true. After some time, Advaita Acharya went to Shaktipur and also started explaining the meaning of Vishadeya Tad Anantaram as Aham Brahmasmi. All the souls were merged in Brahman. Hearing of this, Mahaprabhu went there and pulled his beard and beat him until Sita Devi, Advaita Acharya's wife, came and protected him. Why? Because during we sing Shri Hari in this song, Shri Hari Vasare Hari Kirtana Vidham. There, Nityara Mila Prabhu Jagadena Brahm. Mahaprabhu is dancing. Where in Shiva Sangam? Punya Manda Shiva Sangane Shubharamba. There he is performing this Kirtan. Sankirtan. There it said that Advaita Loera Alakshita Padaduli. Advaita Acharya secretly he takes Mahaprabhu's foot dust. So whenever Advaita Acharya had the chance, he would take Mahaprabhu's foot dust. And then Mahaprabhu would become upset by this. And Mahaprabhu, whenever he would have a chance, he would always offer his pranam to Advaita Acharya, always offering his respects to him. Advaita Acharya thought, Mahaprabhu is the master and I am the servant. I am his eternal servant. Yet he is offering respect and offering me pranam, taking my foot dust. Advaita said, no, this is not possible. If Mahaprabhu does not accept me as his servant, then what is the use of me being in this world? Therefore, we'll really find out who is the master and who is the servant. And Advaita Acharya went to Shantipur. Then he started giving class on Vishishta Advaita. This Yoga Vaishishta. All this Ashtanga Yoga, process of meditation, how to merge into Brahman, how to merge into Paramatma. And he started speaking giving interpretations on Gita based on impersonalism. Began giving class on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Giving all like bogus class. Then when Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, what? Advaita Acharya called me into this world to distribute prayer, not for these things. Now he is going against my mission. He was very angry. Then he came there, and when he saw Advaita Acharya was giving class. This time was big audience, thousands of people were there. Why Yoga Vashishta? Everyone wants to become Bhagavan, everyone wants to become Brahman. Big audience. When giving Bhakti class, and only 5-10 people there, sleeping in audience. For Yoga Vashishta, thousands there, all awake, all interested. Then this Mahaprabhu came onto the stage, grabbed Advaita Acharya by his beard and pulled him, started beating. Hey, what are you doing? It has been described that Vishnu Tattva they do not grow beard and mustache. But Advaita Acharya, this is like special consideration. Even though Advaita Acharya is directly Vishnu Tattva himself, Sadashiv, yet Advaita Acharya, he grows beard. But right here, Gurudeva directly said, Mahaprabhu went there and pulled him by the beard and beat him. So, this is some reconciliation has to be done there. Even though Vishnu Tattva, they are free from all aging, all these signs. But yet, Agatana Gatana Pati Asa Shakti. By the desire of the Lord, he makes the impossible possible also. For the sake of pastime, then Advaita Acharya has taken on this this rupa of being an older man, older personality. Therefore, he has a beard and everything. Mahaprabhu, and then he now is punishing him. So that time, Sita Devi, Advaita Acharya's wife, came and protected him. This is also wonderful because having been beaten, Shri Advaita became very pleased and started dancing. Previously, Mahaprabhu was offering pranam to him and offering him respect, befitting one's guru, because Advaita Prabhu was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And Ishvara Puripad is also a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. That makes Mahaprabhu's guru is godbrother of Advaita Acharya. That makes Advaita Acharya worshipful to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was thinking, he is a disciple of my Param Guru. So it is my duty to offer pranam and seva to him. He is worshipful to me, and therefore I should serve and worship him. For ridding himself of this service, Advaita Acharya gave the impersonalist Nirvisheshvad explanation of Bhagavad Gita. When Maharaj became angry and started beating him, Advaita Acharya said, "Today my life has become successful. I wanted you to accept service from me because you are senior to me. Who can possibly be senior to you?" Mahaprabhu then became shy. Then Advaita Acharya said, now the world can see who is the master, who is the servant. Why is it possible for the servant to beat the master? Never. But the master can beat the servant when he desires. Guru has the adhikar to chastise, discipline the disciple. Therefore, Advaita Acharya was dancing. Now everyone can see. Then, when Advaita Acharya glorified Mahaprabhu in this way, then Mahaprabhu became shy. Then he became a little pacified. Then Mahaprabhu declared, "Those who worship me but do not worship you, do not respect you, they are not my devotees, they will never get my mercy. I declare this. Because you are my eternal servant. I am not separate from you." Then Advaita Acharya said that I also declare that anyone who worships me but does not worship you, then they'll never get, in any lifetime, they'll never get my mercy. Because you are my eternal master. So in this way, Advaita Acharya, by his cleverness, by his devotion, then he was able to establish Mahaprabhu's glories. But this is also the glories of Advaita Acharya. Another time, Mahaprabhu said to his mother Sachi Devi, "I will not show love to you anymore because you have disrespected a devotee. You have committed Vaishnava Aparadha. You told Advaita Prabhu that your name Advaita, meaning non-dual, is not suitable. Rather, your name should be Dvaita, dual. You are not Advaita, you are Dvaita." Why? Because it was by Advaita Acharya's association that Vishwarup, he became detached. And Vishwarup then ultimately took sannyas and he left home. So Sachimata was suffering so much. "Oh, my son has left." Therefore she spoke, "Oh, this Advaita, he is not Advaita. He is not creating any unity, but he is creating diversity, division. He is Dvaita. He has separated my son from me." Then Mahaprabhu was not happy by her comments. What you said was that Advaita Acharya brings duality, separation in relationships. That he separates a mother from her son, a father from his son, a brother from his brother. Advaita Acharya explains the path of devotion, thereby breaking the chains that bind one to the material world. A mother has natural affection for her offspring, but if Advaita Prabhu is able to increase someone's spontaneous attraction towards Krishna, then what could be greater than that? If someone is giving the instruction that the jiva has forgotten Bhagavan for millions of births, and then establishes sambandha, knowledge of our true relationship with Bhagavan, and sadhya, the final attainment, and gives instruction for bhajan that cuts the chains that bind us to the material world, what could be greater than this? And really here is Advaita. So that Advaita Harim Advaita Acharya Bhakta Samsthanat. Bhakta Avataram Isham Tam Advaitam Acharyam Ashraya. He is known as Advaita. Why? Because Harim Advaita. He is Sakshat Hari. He is non different from Hari himself. And Acharyam Bhakti Samsthanat. He is known as Acharya because he establishes Bhakti in this world. Bhakta Avataram Isham Tam. He is the Supreme Lord. He is Bhakta Avatar, manifestation of the Supreme Lord. And I worship that Advaita Acharya. Kaviraj Goswami is described like this. Therefore he is truly Advaita. He is not different from the Lord and he is always engaged in uniting the jivas with the Supreme Lord. And then ultimately that Advaita Siddhi, that perfection is entering into the Lord's pastimes and becoming one under the control or becoming subordinate to Prem Dharma. This is the true meaning of Advaita. They are one in quality, one in heart. Sachidevi replied, he separated me from my beloved Vishwarup. He gave such instruction that he separated me from Vishwarup, who left home and became a sannyasi. Therefore, Advaita means that person whom having met once, one will not desire anything within this world. So his name should be Dvaita instead. Mahaprabhu said, since you spoke to a devotee in this way, none of us will show you love anymore. If someone is committing offense, if someone is an aparadi, then how can you show affection to that person? If you show affection to such a person, what will happen? Their qualities will come inside you. You will also become an aparadi. Therefore, asat sangha tyage vaishnavachar. Stri sangha ekasaro Krishna Bhakta. One should give up bad association. Especially if someone is committing offense, then one should not reward bad behavior. Someone is going against the principle of devotion, then how can you encourage that? How can you maintain a relationship with such a person? Show your affection. One will that time have to make some distance between yourself and that person. Stay away from those offenses. Otherwise, you may yourself then fall to this tendency to commit offense. As she stood there, everyone told her that because she had committed an offense at the feet of Advaita Acharya, they could not show any love to her. Then Sachidevi went to beg forgiveness of Advaita Acharya. But instead, he fell at her feet and said, you are the mother of the entire world. It's not possible that for you to commit any offense. But all right, if someone says that there has been some offense, then I say it hereby forgiven. Then Sachidevi returned to Mahaprabhu and everything was set right. Many wonderful pastimes like this were performed by Advaita Acharya. Sachidevi went to beg forgiveness from Advaita Acharya, but then Advaita Acharya fell at her feet and said, you are the mother of the universe. It's not possible for you to commit offenses. Anyone has committed offenses, I have committed. And then he said, if anyone proclaims or says that you have committed offense, then I proclaim and say that it has been forgiven. Then Mahaprabhu was satisfied. Why is Mahaprabhu acting like this? Even Mahaprabhu knows Sachidevi has not committed offense. But to warn sadhaks like us, to help us understand that the dangers of Vaishnava Aparad. We criticize, we make comments, this and that. Then we may commit some offense. If a Gurudev always used to say, don't joke. You start joking too much, then if that Vaishnava doesn't appreciate the joke, doesn't get the joke, feels hurt by that, then what will happen? You have committed some offense. Then you have created some obstacle to your own devotion. Therefore, one should not joke with other Vaishnavas. Especially seniors, one should not joke. If the seniors are joking with you, then okay, then you can be part of the joke. But if you initiate joking with senior Vaishnavas, then you may break some etiquette, crossover etiquette, transgress etiquette, and you may commit some offense. You have to be very careful. Very, very careful when it comes to respecting Vaishnavas. So Mahaprabhu is showing here. Don't comment, don't criticize. Don't talk prajalpa about other Vaishnavas. Radhananda Swami in his commented Upadeshamrita, first verse, he defines prajalpa as what? Second verse. What is prajalpa? Prajalpa is to talk about others. Simply talking about others is prajalpa. Don't engage in prajalpa. Talk about Bhagavan and his pastimes and associates. Advaita Acharya was also instrumental in bringing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this world. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, upon completing his pastimes in this world and returning to Golok Vrindavan, Shri Krishna Chandra thought, I have 3 desires that have not yet been fulfilled. Understanding the glories of Radhika's love, discovering the sweetness that she finds within me, and tasting the sweetness, without assuming the sentiment of Radhika herself and the effulgence of her form. It will not be possible to experience these 3 things. I have tasted Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, and Madhurya Ras, but as yet I have been unable to experience what her happiness is upon seeing me. What is the nature of her prem for me? In order to experience this, I must go to the material world. At that time, it was necessary for the Yuga Dharma to be given. The age of Kali, which lasts for 432,000 years, had come. Ordinarily, at the end of each Yuga, an incarnation of Bhagavan comes. Just as at the end of Treta Yuga, Ramachandra came, and at the end of Dwapar Yuga, Krishna came. Such a Yuga avatar comes when the disorder in the material world has reached its highest limit. Dharma samstarpanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna says in Gita, in order to re-establish the principles of religion, I appear millennium after millennium. Bhagavan thinks, just see how much sinful activity is increasing and how the chaos is escalating due to the demons. When should I descend? So there are actually 4 reasons for Mahaprabhu's descent. 2 are primary and 2 are secondary. The most primary reason is for tasting the prema of Radhika. And the second reason is Anarapita Charim Chirat Korunayava Tirna Kalo. Samar Paidam Unnata Ujjala Rasam Sva Bhakti Shiyam. By his causeless mercy, he appears in the age of Kali to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. Unnata Ujjala Rasa, the most sublime amorous mellow in his own service. Mahaprabhu wanted to give specific wealth of prem to the jivas that had never been bestowed by any previous incarnations. Unnata Ujjala Rasa, the Parakiya Bhav of the gopis. There are 2 kinds of Unnata Ujjala Parakiya Ras. One kind, the sentiment of Radhika, is not givable. But the other, the sentiment of the Nitya Sakhis and the Pran Sakhis, who serve Radha and who, following her, also serve Krishna, that Unnata Ujjala Rasa can be given. In other words, Radha Bhav, Radhika's move cannot be distributed. Why? It is exclusive to Radhika. But the service to Radhika, the service to her Bhav, that is possible. To assist Radhika in her service to Krishna, that mood is being distributed. Therefore, to bestow the highest prema upon all jivas and to taste the prema of Radhika, Krishna comes. His third reason for coming is to preach the Yuga Dharma, Nam Sankirtan. And the fourth reason is Yada Yadahi Dharmasya. These are the 4 reasons. Go Maharaj. Bandhav. Maharaj, आपने कदा पर गए?
ना, हम नहीं, हम गिरी नहीं हैं।
These are the 4 reasons. Krishna was thinking, when should I go? To establish the Yuga Dharma, descending at the end of the Yuga is alright. But if instead I preach Nam Sankirtan at the beginning of the Yuga, the degrading influence of the Yuga will have a lesser effect on the jivas. When should I give the sentiment of the gopis? And when should I taste the love of Radhika? He was considering all of these things. Meanwhile, Advaita Acharya saw that bhakti was gradually disappearing from the world. And he thought, now is the appropriate time for Krishna's incarnation. If he doesn't come now, what will happen later? At that time, he was also thinking this in the form of Karanakashaya Vishnu. He was pondering in that place where Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are all in the same position. There are 2 causes of the world. One is Upadan, the ingredient cause, and the other is Nimitta, the efficient cause. That is Upadan Karan and Nimitta Karan. Mahavishnu himself is the Nimitta cause, and his part, Advaita Acharya, is the Upadan cause. In other words, the efficient cause is Mahavishnu himself, and then the ingredient cause, that is Advaita Acharya. Would I give some example here? Suppose I were to point to someone and say, This man is a hooligan, thief and liar. Grab him and throw him outside. He should never be allowed in here again. Now you may not know him, but by me saying this you throw him out. So who is the cause of him being thrown out? By my order you grabbed this man and ejected him. So you are the upadan cause. That is the ingredient cause. And I am the nimitta cause, the efficient cause. Who is the real cause of the man being ejected? By his own misbehavior, the man himself is the cause. And this is exactly the situation regarding the creation of the material world. Therefore it said that Maya Adjakshi Prakriti Suyatesu Chara Hetu Nena Kamtaya Jagat Viparivartate. Krishna directly reveals in this sloka of the Gita that the jivas themselves are what? Hetu Nena Kamtaya. They are the reason, they are the hetu, the cause why this world is rotating. This Maya is a Maya Adjakshini Prakriti. This Prakriti of mine is Maya Adjakshini, under my influence. Suryadeyasu Charachara, and all the moving and unmoving living entities are acting in this material world. But the cause of this world is what? Is the Jiva himself. So the Jiva here is actually the true cause why this material world is created. Because the Jiva has a desire to be indifferent from Bhagavan, therefore Bhagavan creates the world for the Jiva. But when we're talking about an efficient cause and then the ingredient cause or the instrumental cause, then we can understand that Mahavishnu and Advaita Acharya, they perform these two functions. Mahavishnu desires, and then Advaita Acharya, he provides all the ingredients. Karana Dakashai Vishnu assumes two forms to create the material world, as the efficient cause and the ingredient cause. When the two of them come together, countless Brahmandas are generated. But if Bhagavan did not inject his desire, then what? In any activity, there is first a desire for it to take place. Therefore, the desire of Mahavishnu is the primary cause, and dependent on his desire is the desire of Advaita Acharya, which is the secondary cause. In this way, Karana Dakashai Vishnu performs the activity of creating the world, and his incarnation is Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya Gosai Sakshat Ishvara, Jahar Mahima Naya Jivara Gochara. Shri Advaita Acharya is directly the Ishvar himself. His glories cannot be comprehended by ordinary living beings. From Mahatattva, false ego arises. From false ego comes sound, touch, form, taste and smell. Next come the 11 senses, and next are the 5 material elements. That makes 22, and with the intelligence and mind it makes 24. Then adding Prakriti and Purush, Atma and Paramatma makes 28 aspects of Tattva altogether. Leaving aside Bhagavan and Jivatma, only the remaining are accepted by the Sankhya and Nyaya schools of thought. In Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it said that Ye Purusha Shishti Siti Korana Mayai Ananta Brahmanda Shishti Korana Leela Ichchaya Ananta Murti Korana Prakash Eka Murti Korana Brahmanda Pravesh. Se Purush Angsa Advaita Nahi Kichu Bhed Sharir Vishayastar Nahi Ko Vichche Sahai Korana Tar Loiya Pradhan Koti Brahmanda Korana Ichchaya Nirman. Mahavishnu performs the function of creation of all the material universes, and Advaita Acharya is directly the incarnation of him. Creating and maintaining these countless universes by his external energy is his pastime. And by his own will he expands into countless forms and enters into each and every universe. Advaita Acharya is a non-different part and parcel of Mahavishnu, or in other words, another form of him. So that Mahavishnu avatar Shri Advaita Chandra. Advaita Acharya is directly Mahavishnu's incarnation. Some say that nature enacts the process of creation by itself, and they give this example. A cow eats grass and automatically milk is produced. What is the necessity of anyone else in this process? In this way, nature does everything by itself. To refute this, an innocent, less educated Vaishnava said, the cow eats grass and then gives milk. So why then doesn't the bull eat grass and also give milk? Does he need more grass to eat? The Pandit of the Sankhya school had to think for a moment. Then he said, concerning the Upadan cause, ingredient cause, to make a house, all elements such as bricks are necessary. Then the Vaishnav said, so if by bricks or cement a house will be made, then here we will place 1,000 kilos of cement, 10,000 bricks, and an entire lake of water, and wood and marble also. Will that make a house? By the Upadan only it will not happen, because it needs the nimitta cause. There may be a pen and paper, but by themselves will they write? Therefore, by the material nature alone, creation will not take place, as long as the desire of Bhagavan is not there. So even though all the Mahatattva is there, all the sum total aggregate of all material elements, but unless there is desire by the Bhagavan for creation, those elements will not manifest into any particular form. Just like you have all the ingredients for building a house, but unless someone plans to build a house and hires workers and executes that, then how will the house be built? No action can take place by itself in the material world. So therefore this Prakriti-vad philosophy is erroneous. Prakriti means matter. Purush is conscious. And when both come together, there is creation. In Prakriti there is no action, no innate desire. It is inert matter. Prakriti means it's always serving the desire of Purush.
You reading Gurudev? Yeah. I was thinking, wow, Giridhari Maharaj knows exactly what Gurudev said. I just read that lecture.
We're going to start Abhishek now, just a few minutes now. So, here, so Prakriti is always following the desire of Purush, and otherwise Shakti is always fulfilling the desire of Shaktiman. So there's no innate desire in Prakriti. But when it is activated by the Purush, then automatically the task is accomplished. The communists say, what is the need of God in this? Nature creates by itself, but there is no one in the world who can create by himself. A lame man and a blind man were going somewhere together, and the lame man said, take me on your shoulders. Seeing with my eyes, I will tell you to go right, left, or straight on the path, and with your legs we will go there. Otherwise you will not be able to go there, and neither will I. Working together they reach the desired destination. In this example, the lame man is conscious and the blind man is also conscious. And both being conscious, the work was done. But in creation, only Bhagavan is conscious and nature is not. Without at least one conscious being, no work in this world can be done. These issues may seem a little dry, but they are very important and tasteful points related to bhakti, and Vaishnava should make an effort to understand them. Prabhupada uses this example. India is like the lame man, but the West is like the blind man. But together, using the funds and using the facilities and all everything that is there in the West, and taking the knowledge of India, then preaching and everything Mahaprabhu's desire will be fulfilled. So without Purush, then Prakriti has no true function. Purush gives the desire and then Prakriti acts. So in all of this tattva, the root cause of the material world is Krishna, because originally he injects his desire. Otherwise the original desire seed comes from Krishna. He plays his flute, and the original desire seed is what? Is cling. It's this calm beat. Original desire seed. Hearing this calm beat, then Brahma, he attained, he began performing austerities. And then by the power of his tapasya, austerities, then he received the power to actually take all these ingredients and then perform creation. When we take the sum total aggregate of all unmanifest, or the elements that are unmanifest, in the unmanifest state it's called pradhan. When you take the sum total aggregate of all manifest elements, it is known as mahatattva. First from pradhan, it has to come to the state of mahatattva. Then, from that state of mahatattva, Brahma or Advaita Acharya, they can perform creation. So here he's saying that he becomes two kinds of Sankarshan. The root Sankarshan, that is Mool Sankarshan and Mahasankarshan. From Mahasankarshan he becomes Karanadakasha Vishnu, and subsequently he becomes Advaita Acharya and the Upadan cause. Some people say that the Upadan cause is separate from Bhagavan, that the Upadan cause of the material world is not Bhagavan. They say that he may be the Nimitta cause, but he cannot be the Upadan cause. But besides Krishna there is nothing. So from where has the material world come? From where has the Mahatattva come? It has also come from the desire of Krishna. There is nothing in all of existence that is separate from him. That is the meaning of Advaya. When we say Advaya Gyan Paratattva, Gurudev describes that Advaya means that there is nothing in all of existence that is actually separate from the Lord. Everything is included within him. Therefore he is Advaya. So the material world, everything has come from Bhagavan. And just like the Paramatma is residing inside every single heart of the Jiva, the Paramatma also resides in every single element, also every single atom. He's maintaining every single aspect of this. Nothing is separate from him. Karanadakasha manifests the creation and the Mahatattva, nature herself, and is thus non-different from him. The Mahatattva is thus non-different from him. To correct the souls that have forgotten Bhagavan, Prakriti is manifest by his desire and gives the Jiva an external form. The Jiva may consider his placement in that condition of life to be an opportunity for great happiness, but actually it is punishment. Just like when a crazy man dances around naked, people will beat him, and without eating or drinking the water, he wanders around. So the Jiva comes into this material world and thinks, oh, now my opportunity to enjoy. But in reality, he is in a very precarious situation. Just like people, they bought tickets for the Titanic. Then what happened? They were trying to enjoy. Then they are destined to all die. So anyone who's born into this world, you just imagine you are like on the Titanic itself. It's a sinking ship. You're destined to suffer. Temporary happiness. Just like when a crazy man dances around naked, people will beat him, and without eating or drinking he wanders around. He says, I am the king, or I am the prime minister, and he thinks himself to be happy. Our condition is exactly like that. We may consider ourselves happy, but in reality we are not in a happy condition at all. Guru said there are two kinds of people in this world who are happy. One is the Premi Bhakta, the other one is the drunkard. The drunk, he drinks so much that he falls unconscious and he's lying in the street. Then the dog comes and passes urine on his face, or passes urine on him and licks his mouth. And then when the dog is licking his mouth, then he's thinking, oh, I am enjoying so much. Then he's very, very happy. Only two kinds of people are happy in this world. Thus Advaita Acharya was thinking, the world has become atheistic. One after another, people are forgetting Bhagavan. And for me to rectify them alone is not possible. To bring devotion to the non-devotees will be very, very difficult work. Without the Shakti of Krishna himself, it simply cannot be done. Besides devotees, there are so many people in the world who are preaching, but they are all preaching Maya. They are preaching twisted philosophies, and seeing this, Sri Advaita thought, they have no relation with Bhagavan and they do not preach bhakti. Even when they do preach from Srimad Bhagavatam and Gita, they express only the desires of their minds. They are indifferent to Sanatana Dharma and pure devotion, and all of them, especially the Mayavadis, will only hear what they want to hear. Therefore it said that Avaishnavanam Mukotgirnam Bhutam Harikatam Mritam Sabanam Naiva Kartavyam Satpo Chishta Yatapaya. Any katha that is spoken by a non-devotee is like milk touched by the lips of a serpent. When a serpent touches milk, it drinks milk. Why? Because its poison increases. It makes him strong. But that milk becomes contaminated actually. It becomes poisonous. You cannot take it. So any Harikatha spoken by non-devotees, it may seem very entertaining, it may seem very rasiki, it may seem very philosophical, but in reality, it is poisonous. Plus, why are they speaking that? They have katha, because they have some mixed motive, some personal desire. And they are speaking that katha to fulfill their own personal desires. They're not speaking it for the pleasure of the Lord. And if you hear that, then you will also develop independent desires. Defeating Ravan was not a very difficult thing. And killing Kamsa was also not a difficult thing. These actions could have been done by Vishnu, by a Vishnu incarnation. But changing the thinking of these Mayavadis is very difficult. Only if Krishna himself comes into this world, it will be possible. Since Advaita Prabhu was at least 60 years old when Mahaprabhu appeared, he was the oldest of all of Mahaprabhu's associates. Nityananda Prabhu was approximately 5 years older than Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu's plan was that he could first arrange for his devotees to appear in this world, and then he could descend himself. Advaita Acharya appeared first, and seeing the condition of the world, he thought, how will I call Krishna? There are so many types of worship of Krishna, but amongst all of these, the glories of Tulsi are the greatest. Krishna will be so pleased with anyone who offers him a Tulsi leaf and Ganga water, that it will overpower him. Thus he took a Tulsi bud, 2 soft leaves with a manjari in the middle, and with great prayers and tears flowing from his eyes, worshipped Krishna beside the Ganga. He said that Tulsi Galamartana Jalascha Chulukenava Vikrinita Sa Atmanam Bhakta Bhakta Pyo Vatsala. Simply by offering Tulsi and some Ganga Jal, then Bhagavan himself offers himself to that devotee. Vikrinitanam Sva Atmanam Bhakta Bhakta Pyo Vatsala. He is Bhakta Vatsalya. So Advaita Acharya, understanding this, he worshipped Salagram, worshipped the Lord with Ganga and Tulasi. Krishna was originally thinking, when will I descend? Maybe in 10 or 20,000 years, or maybe even after 100,000 years. But upon hearing Advaita Acharya's prayer, he came at once. Therefore, Advaita Acharya is another primary reason for the descent of Mahaprabhu. So, as we heard, there are 4 reasons for Mahaprabhu's descent. 2 primary and 2 secondary. Or, there are two internal reasons and 2 external reasons. You have a primary internal reason and you have a secondary internal reason. And you have the primary external reason and the secondary external reason. So the primary internal reason is what? This verse described by Kaviraj Goswami, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kitliso Vanadeva. To understand these 3 desires. This is the primary internal reason. It's internal, why? Because it's related to Krishna himself. And the secondary internal reason is what? Advaita Acharya is calling. Because Advaita Acharya is Mahaprabhu's Bhakta, his devotee. And he's calling for him. Therefore it became an internal, a personal reason for Krishna. And therefore he descended. But it's secondary to him trying to understand these 3 moods. Then this primary, secondary reason is what? Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. To distribute Raga Marga. And then the secondary, external reason is Yuga Dharma Sthapan. Establishing Yuga Dharma. It's described as an external reason. Why? Because it's not for Krishna himself, it's for others. Therefore it's external. So in this way, the descent of Advaita Acharya calling for Mahaprabhu, this is actually a primary reason. And in Kaviraj Goswami and Chaitanya Charitamrita, he described another astonishing thing. He says that just as Advaita Acharya is the primary reason for Mahaprabhu's descending, he said, not less is Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur's prayers and his chanting and desire to deliver the jivas also was the reason why Mahaprabhu came. Not less than Advaita Acharya himself. But that is not so much talked about generally. But Advaita Acharya, this is usually highlighted. So now there's so many things here. It's only actually a few more pages. But anyhow, we have. I'll try. Maybe I can finish it here. At birth, Advaita was given the name Kamalaksha because his eyes were as beautiful as lotus petals. He appeared in Sri Hatta in East Bengal. Staying some time in Navadvip and sometimes in Shantipur, he began preaching bhakti. He was there in Navadvip when Mahaprabhu took birth. Vishwarup attended Advaita Prabhu's school. One day, Mother Sachi told Nimai to go call his brother. So when he arrived at the school, Nimai glanced in the direction of Advaita Acharya and said, "What do you see? You called me here and you don't recognize me? When the proper time comes, you will certainly recognize me. There are unlimited incarnations of Vishnu, and they are all not different from Krishna. But their activities and pastimes are different. Therefore, because Advaita Acharya is none different from Hari, he is Advaita. And because he manifested bhakti in all directions, he is known as Acharya. How did he preach bhakti? If anyone was born in a Sudra family, a Muslim family, or any family, and performed Bhagavad Bhajan, Advaita Prabhu considered him better than a Brahmana who didn't engage in Bhajan. If there is someone who has taken birth in a high Brahmin family, is an eminent scholar of good conduct, speaks the truth, and never lies, but does not engage in Bhagavad Bhajan, then he is inferior to one who has taken birth in a Sudra family, or in a family of cremation ground workers. That person just cries out Krishna, Krishna, and does no other spiritual activity whatsoever. He said that Hari Bhakti Vihinaya Chandala Parikirtita. Someone has no Hari Bhakti, he is a Chandal. Even if he may be a Brahman, doesn't matter. But if someone is a Sudra and he has Bhakti, then he is to be respected. That Sudra is superior to a Chaturvedi Brahmana. Name Bhakta Chaturvedi. Mat Bhakta Svapachakriya. Bhagavan says. Someone may be a Chaturvedi, but if he has no devotion, he is not my devotee. But if a Swapacha, Dogita, he is my devotee, then he is Priya, very dear to me. Advaita Acharya proved this point and preached it. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. At the Shraddha ceremony for Advaita Acharya's father, the highest seat and prasad were there to be offered first to the most elevated person. Advaita Acharya was performing the ceremony when the moon was in the appropriate place in the month of Ashwin. All the high-class Brahmanas were there: Bhakta Acharya, Trivedi, Chaturvedi, Upadhyaya. Ashwini is the month just before Kartik. And all of them were great scholars. After washing their, during that time, just before Kartik, this is called Pitri Paksha. For 2 weeks, everyone offers Shraddha, everyone offers Pika. Every year comes. So that time, especially those who are householders, then there's their duty to offer Pinda, offer oblations to their forefathers. So Advaita Acharya is like teaching, showing some example. So that time he invited all the Brahmanas. They were all great scholars. After washing their feet, Advaita Acharya showed them to their respective seats. In front was an elevated seat, and Advaita Prabhu was standing and thinking, who will I seat here? All the scholars were thinking, I know so many scriptures, certainly I will be offered that seat. Silently they were all aspiring for it. Advaita Acharya then went outside the house and saw Haridas Thakur wearing a langoti. Langoti means, it's like what Hanuman wears. It's like underwear, like coping, but it's in one piece. It's stitched together. So Haridas Thakur was only wearing that, and only wearing a chadar. And sometimes you see in Vrindavan these babas, they're just wearing so Gurudev is saying that Haridas Thakur is wearing a langoti. He's sitting at the door. Haridas was thinking, the Brahmanas will take their meal here. So Advaita Acharya will certainly give us a little of their prasad. He had so much humility, and he was thinking if he went inside, the house would be contaminated. At once Advaita Acharya embraced him, and Haridas Thakur said, oh, you are a Brahmana and I am a Muslim. Having touched me, you must now go and bathe. But grabbing him and taking him inside, Advaita Acharya sat him on the elevated seat, at which time there was a great outcry in all directions. The Brahmana said, by bringing a Muslim in here, you have contaminated this place and insulted us. We will not eat here. Taking their water pots, they all stood up and left. They were abusing Advaita Acharya, saying, you are opposed to the principles of Dharma. But Advaita Acharya said, today my birth has become successful, and today my father has attained Vaikuntha. By giving respect to one Vaishnava, today millions of my ancestors have crossed over Maya. If Haridas Thakur will eat here, then that is greater than feeding millions of Brahmanas. Haridas Thakur was crying, thinking, because of me, all these Brahmanas have been insulted and are not eating. But Advaita Acharya said, Haridas, today you will certainly take prasad here. That will be our great good fortune. Then he said to the Brahmanas, he will stay and none of you will get prasad. Actually, you should all leave here quickly, because just seeing your face is a great sin. Haridas has great regard for Mahaprasad, and therefore he is included within the Vaishnava class. Anyone who doesn't accept this is an atheist, and one who judges a Vaishnava by his birth is an atheist. You can all go away from here, and then your offenses will leave with you. You are offending Haridas and offending me as well. Therefore I said that Acharya Vishnu Shiladir Gurushu Naramati Vaishnava Jati Buddhi Yasyai Naraki Saha. Anyone who sees a Vaishnava going with Jati Buddhi, then he is a Naraki. Anyone who thinks Guru has Naramati, mundane vision towards Guru, he is also a Naraki. And anyone who thinks Acharya Vishnu Shiladi, Shiladi means you think the deity of the form to be made from any dhatu, any mineral, then you are also a resident of hell. You have a hellish mentality. That mentality will definitely lead you to hell. All the scholars left the house, but outside as they were going, they began speaking among themselves. Advaita Acharya is no ordinary personality. He is a great scholar. He knows all the scriptures and he is an exalted preacher of Bhakti. They continued deliberating, and after fully reconsidering, they returned, fell at Advaita Prabhu's feet and begged forgiveness. Advaita Acharya had many sons, of which one was named Achyutananda. But because some of his other sons didn't engage in bhajan, he didn't consider them his sons at all, and he renounced them. He had 6 sons. 3 of them were atheists, 3 of them were devotional. But out of only those 3, only truly Advaita Achyutananda was truly Mahaprabhu's follower. Only those sons who performed bhajan of Bhagavan did he make his successors, especially because of one incident in Jagannath Puri. Achyutananda was made his successor. The Rath Yatra was going on, and that time Achyutananda was just a small boy. Some Vaishnavas came and asked Advaita Acharya, what is the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru? He replied, Keshav Bharati. At that time, Achyutananda was sitting in his father's lap. And upon hearing this, he began shivering with anger. He was just a small boy. Nevertheless, he got up from his father's lap and started to walk away, saying, you cannot be my father if you have such an idea. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the guru of the entire world. Who can possibly be his guru? Tears came to the eyes of Advaita Acharya and he said, you will really be known as my son. What you have said is correct. Mahaprabhu is the guru of the entire world. But for his pastimes in human form, he must set the example of others. Otherwise, what will happen? How could the people of the world know what is necessary to accept that it is necessary to accept the Guru? If a Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Bhajan Shiksha Guru of the Sampradaya. In this way, Advaita Acharya did many wonderful things. He was an assistant to all the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, today we will offer a special prayer to the feet of Advaita Acharya, that he may be merciful upon us, so that we can make steady progress in bhakti and ultimately attain the direct service of Shri Gaura Chandra. This way, Srila Guru Pada Padma ends his lecture on Advaita Saptami, Advaita Tattva. Now we'll finish here and then we'll go downstairs, we'll perform Abhishek of Shri Advaita Acharya. Then after that, then our program again will start at 10 o'clock, then we'll do Kirtan and everything. Gaur Brahmanande Hare Hare Hariva Jai Shri Guru Pada Padma Ki Jai Guru Parampara Ki Jai Sachinanda Gaur